Aum Sairam. Hara Hara Shankara, Jaya Jaya Shankara. Episode 40. Shri Mahaswami, the Sage with Eyes of Light. The Diary of a Seeker of Truth. Dr.Serge Demetrian. Dear devotees, now we shall listen to the second section of part 2 of this divine book under the subtitle The Lotus Pond. Karveti Nagar, Sunday, 9th October 1971. I left the hermitage, not knowing it was for good. This morning I could see Sri Mahaswami only for 2 hours of a very tiring wait, and this without being able to understand why the preparation had to be so long and so painful. Through an intermediary, I informed him that I intended to go tomorrow to Madras for 3 or 4 days. He immediately got up, walked through the hut, 3 rooms in all, and came out at the southern door into the small service yard, which was protected from the sun rays. By the time I reached the spot, he was already waiting. There was no assistant or visitor there, as if by an order. I looked at him. He seemed to possess the force of a volcano concentrated in a single hand. I felt in some way that he almost burst with energy without showing exterior signs. If my eyes had been prepared too, I could perhaps have seen him surrounded by flames. His eyes were the only place where it was possible to perceive a sliver of the density which was noiselessly boiling behind the aspect of a frail little old man standing there, clad in his ochre cloth. They were immense, blue, clear, with the minute circle of the cataract more pronounced on the right side. This time the pupil was black. His eyes did not send rays of light but a block, a compact mass of luminescence. I prostrated and then knelt adoring him as an icon, while these words rolled out by themselves in my mind. Here in front of me is Ishvara with form, just like every other son of God, those rare ones who led the history of humanity on the paths willed by the Creator and Protector of the universe. He was attentively considering me fondly with an array of looks, a fine, penetrating look, or a short and superficial one, or lost and turned towards the heights. Sometimes the force behind this look abandoned his eyes. Then the face was deprived of precise limits and tended to become transparent. His features lengthened and seemed slimmer, as happens during the Anushtana, the puja or the meditations after his ablutions. I fastened my eyes between his eyebrows. Then I gazed into his pupils one after another. I suddenly felt my eyes surprisingly enlarging. I was somehow compelled to close them and to meditate in the heart. After some time, my eyelids had to open. Sri Mahaswami was still in front of me, staring at me. He remained a short time so, and then he blessed me with his hand in abhaya. I prostrated. When I finished and came up, he retired slowly, going backwards with his unique and so graceful movements of embarrassment and of excuse. Ishvara, with form, asking me to excuse him as he was leaving. My throat was constricted. My eyes were full of tears. How small and miserable we are in front of the immensity and purity of Ishvara. I returned, thoughtful, to my small room at the mill. Alas, only to plunge back into the transitory world. I had just received the monthly pension very late. I hoped it was for the past month. The mind is unable to stand all the hitches that keep it under pressure. The brazen and shameless mind, overexcited, utilizes these opportunities to construct imaginary complications. As it happens for the last 10 or 15 days, the intricate household activities last up to 4 p.m. There was no possibility for a siesta in the afternoon. Anyway, I had already renounced that luxury. I came back by 5:30 p.m. to the hermitage in not a very good humor. Sri Mahaswami had just started his ablutions down at the water. Although I stood at less than 10 meters of him, my mental mood did not change, even after 1 hour. Sri Mahaswami understood my situation. He turned himself exactly towards me, that is, facing north instead of east, towards the lake, the usual position during his ablutions, and he started a series of salutes in the directions of the space. After 1 or 2 series, I was already better. In the interval between the movements, Sri Mahaswami took rest while continuing to look at me. I was too far away and could not observe his eyes. On the contrary, 2 or 3 times a wave of invisible light touched my face. For a few seconds I could not see anything. 4 or 5 multicolored flowers of low luminosity had replaced the clear area of my sight. While a silent vibration of the eyes accompanied this happening, then the mind calmed down. Maybe also it was due to a controlled fit of tears. I left the hermitage, not knowing that it was for good. During the next 1 or 2 hours, I was sure that Ishvara had taken residence in me. The I persisted only as a simple witness idea, an onlooker, the old mind and the ancient body having perished. Sri Mahaswami had totally replaced what had been my body and mind by his own body and his own mind. Kanchipuram, Sunday, 16th October 1971. I had left Karveti Nagar on the 10th October in the morning. Some last-minute obstacles just before my departure stopped me from revisiting Swamiji, and I also feared to miss the bus. Still, while crossing the end of the alley which leads to the hermitage, for a few minutes I laid down my heavy luggage in order to look for the last time the hands in Anjali towards that place, the blessed place among all others. I did not see anything, but at some 200 meters distance, and for a long moment I felt the presence of Sri Mahaswami as if he had been 1 meter in front of me. Once in Kanchipuram, and after a few days, I came to know that on the morning of my departure from Karveti Nagar, Swamiji sat on the platform with the statues round the tall peepal tree. Had I gone to the hermitage immediately before my departure, I would have seen him straight away. I wondered why I had left so forcefully his presence at the moment when, on the departure, I stopped on the other side of the alley. It was in Kanchipuram that I was informed that Sri Mahaswami had left Karveti Nagar on the 12th October, which was 1 day before the date I had planned to return to that place. Devotees, we have completed the second section, that is the lotus pond, pertaining to the second part of Sri Mahaswami, the sage with eyes of light, and we will be listening to the third section of part 2 around the river Arani in the coming episode. Bowing at the holy feet of the Gurus. Aum Sairam. Hara Hara Shankara, Jaya Jaya Shankara.